Hey, everybody. Tim here. Our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to everybody affected by this tragedy out of D.C. It's unimaginable. I don't really know what else to say. As far as this week's episode, we recorded this on Tuesday, so thought it would be appropriate to put a little disclaimer up at the top. We talk about travel a lot. In this episode, we talk about missing flights. Alex talks about maintenance on his plane. Obviously, when we were talking about this, we had no idea what was going to happen. So we just thought it would be appropriate to put a little tag at the top here. If that's something that you're feeling particularly sensitive about right now, completely understand if you want to take this week off. We appreciate you guys listening, and if you stick around, I hope you enjoy the show.
This is Off Track.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Off Track with Hinch. I know, but he wasn't going to do it.
I know.
Why am I supposed to do it?
He pointed, and I just took it.
I had another browser open. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at you guys.
I do find it funny when I edit these, because I edit these as videos, and then I export the audio, put the audio up.
Yeah.
So just like seeing the light change on your face constantly.
Yeah.
As you're
You can tell for sure.
Yeah, and I try to like not include that when I can cut around it on the YouTube videos.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's impossible to change it. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't get it. Anyways, guys, welcome. We covered Daytona in the Tuesday episode. So if you are tuning in to this episode, hoping to hear about Daytona, go check out Tuesday's episode, because we get all the insight from James and his 7 hours of Daytona. We talk about BMW versus Corvette and all the conspiracy that goes along with that. And then we talk about all the winners of the race. So that's your Daytona recap. I'm going to get straight into it. Travel podcast, coming back from Hawaii. I almost missed a flight. And I know that's not like crazy news. That's not that interesting of a story, but here's the thing.
For you it is. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. There's only evening flights out of Maui because of where it is on the time zone map and all that sort of thing, going east back to the United States. So like the earliest flights are 6 p.m. all the way to like 11:30 p.m. And so we had a 7 o'clock flight. We obviously got a late checkout at the hotel, and we were hanging by the pool and all this sort of thing. And we were staying 45 minutes away from the airport. We had done this drive multiple times throughout our trip there to go into that part of town for dinner or excursions or whatever we were doing. And so at 4:15, I just was like, we should go. I feel like we should go. And I looked at Waze, I looked at Uber, and everything said like 52 minutes. But I was like, we need to go. I had this feeling that we should go. And this was the first time of the entire trip that it was raining pretty good. And so we were kind of just sitting in the hotel lobby bar. So it was like, we weren't doing anything. It's not like we were trying to get the last bit of suntan or whatever, right? So we order an Uber, we get an Uber, and we start driving, and we get about 20 minutes down the road. So halfway there. And it is just complete gridlock. Now, there was, ever since the fire in Lahaina and such, there's, quite a bit of debris recovery and construction happening and all of this sort of thing. But again, like that had all been little minor construction areas that we had driven through before. So it had never taken more than 45 minutes. And let me just put it to you this way. Our flight departed at 7. It boarded at 6:15. We pulled up to the curb at 6:10. Baggage drop-off was 6:15. Thankfully, this was still a domestic flight, even though it feels like you're out of the country. So bag cutoff was 45 minutes. But it took 1 hour and 55 minutes to do a 45-minute drive. And I was just thinking and here's the kicker. I was looking at flight options. Hawaii is a very popular place, not a whole lot of flights. It was going to end up costing me, because this wasn't a delay, this wasn't an American cancellation, this sort of thing.
Right.
It was going to end up costing me $9,000 out of pocket to leave on Friday. So the next day, and we were going to have to transfer islands. We were going to have to fly to Kona, because that was the only way to get out of there and get back to Indianapolis.
Good Lord.
And I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, this is bullshit, because I wasn't messing around. I was being responsible. I didn't sleep in. I wasn't late. I wasn't like, oh, let's go to another bar really quick and let's do whatever. Right. I was leaving essentially 3 hours early for a 45-minute drive. And I was that close to missing a flight. And I'm like, that is such a kick in the balls, because it's like, it's one thing if you screwed up and you have to pay $9,000, it's your fault, right? It's another thing. It's like, I didn't do anything wrong and this is completely out of my control.
And it's not even like you were trying to time it to the minute, right?
No.
Like, look, when we're here, when we're home at Indy,
we push the envelope.
We're irresponsible with like how close we put, like, one slight
if someone
minor incident on the highway,
yeah.
like missing the flight, no problem. Right. But like, you were going hours in advance. Like, you were well clear of what you normally would have done.
I was planning on getting there, getting dinner, having a beer, like hanging out, like whatever, right? No stress needed. All the stress was delivered.
So much stress, man. So much anxiety.
And the Uber driver was like, yeah, we don't get rain very often. So people were just panicking. Like, there was no crash. There was no issue. There wasn't like a mudslide. Like, there was 2 hours of traffic because it was wet.
I feel like, does Hawaii not get rain? I don't know why. In my head, I figured they got like a good amount of rain.
It's a pretty lush green place. I kind of thought they got a bit of rain.
Okay, I have a question.
I think they get rain in the mountains. I don't
like
think
certain
they get
elevations.
rain like at the beach. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
How many flights have you guys missed, if any?
That were not
Like,
connections and my fault?
Because of you, yeah.
Oh, one.
One?
So I'll talk about it. So it was London. I was going to like Barcelona or something, or Italy or wherever, right? And it was a 9 a.m. flight. I was staying at the airport. I went out the night before with some of the engineers and mechanics and everything. Stayed out a little bit too late. I had one of those panic wake ups where you're like, cause you know, it's like late. And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, and just went immediately back to bed. Like, it wasn't even worth, like, it was boring when I woke up. So I didn't even there was no stress. It was like, that's a problem for me to deal with in 4 hours. I'm going to get some more sleep. But I've never had one where I've like been running to the gate and missed it, other than like a connection being delayed or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
I've
done
one.
2 and both are oversleep. Yeah, Alex, I was with you for one.
Oh, I remember that one. Was that
Austin,
Vegas?
Texas.
South by Southwest.
Oh, Austin. Yeah.
The other one was I was in Moab, Utah. I was working on the movie After Earth. And I had a 6 a.m. flight out the day after we wrapped, but we had a wrap party. And so I was at the wrap party till like 2 a.m. And I woke up.
At that point, you can't go to bed.
Yeah, I woke up like 2 to 3 hours after my flight had already left.
Again, no stress, because it's like
I woke up and the flight had landed.
I can't remember the Austin one. Did you wake up and it had already taken off?
It was like 15 minutes before takeoff. It was like they would close the boarding door as I woke up.
The funny thing about that was, didn't you like lose a credit card at the bar?
I had lost the card. I lost the card. Yeah, I lost the card. It already reported it missing, so it no longer worked until the new one got in.
Oh, that's right. So you had to borrow his card to book your
I had to pay for his flight. Yeah.
Yeah, that was all bad.
That's terrific. I had one that I missed, which, like, I guess it's my fault, but it really wasn't my fault because I got there early enough. But I don't know if I had like not checked in online, or maybe I had to check a bag or something. But there was some cutoff, and it was close. But I got there and I stood in line, and there was only one person working check-in, and I was the second person in line. And the person in front of me took, and I think I had like 15 minutes of leeway. They took 20 minutes. And I got up there. I was like, I've been here for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I need to get on this
plane. I always wonder what
It's
happens there.
closed. They're like, sorry, it's closed.
Yeah, because it's nothing they
so
can
you got to
do,
be a bully
right?
at that point, right? You got to push your way through and be like, you have this limit imposed. You need to deal with my.
Yeah, I guess. I honestly didn't. I honestly thought, because like she clearly saw me there. I had been standing there the entire time. So I kind of just figured that like there was a way around it, and she would kind of like
buffer. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just some kind of, control, delete thing she could do and, reset something.
VIP.
Nope. So I just stood there.
A lot of people
a new flight.
People don't realize that at the airport, they actually like have special flights reserved for people who are mean enough to the employees. Because,
I was
it's up to those employees.
Shout out
really-
to Spirit Airlines.
I did not. I there's one flight. There's one
So
flight that I should have missed.
you've never missed a flight from oversleeping.
No.
That's incredible.
There's one that I
Something
almost
to be proud
missed
of.
because I
Are we lesser people, Tim? Seems like it.
Well,
I mean, I still miss
we make
that one.
worse
I mean-
choices.
you guys are both way better at sleeping than I am though.
To be fair, one of them was because I was hanging out and partying with you, which was fun. The other one, Will Smith was pouring drinks at the after party. I wasn't gonna leave.
No, it was worth it. It was worth
Yeah.
it. No, dude,
Problem with the one with me is I went to bed, pal.
We have
It's gonna
different
be he said,
memories
she
of that
said.
trip. Yeah.
yeah. But no, the one that I should have missed. So like, and it kind of from sleeping. Road America 1 year, like junior categories. We went to Siebkens, discovered Jägermeister.
That's a
had a
painful
very,
morning.
very rough morning. Got to the airport. The girl I was dating at the time and I were so tired and so hungover that we laid down on the floor at the gate and fell asleep. And literally the gate agent kicked us awake and she was like, "Are you guys on this flight?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "We called last call like 5 minutes. Like, you have to get on right now." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So like, we nearly overslept at the gate.
At the gate.
I did
At
that.
the airport. At the
I did
gate.
that in Nashville after you podium, James.
Yeah.
I got to the airport for my flight and I was like, I need to get a little more sleep before this flight. So I fell asleep, but laid in a way where they couldn't board the plane without like stepping
feet
over
were, like,
me or
in the
walking
aisle?
on me. Yeah. No, so like I was like asleep with my feet blocking the area to board.
That is a wild move considering you would have known half the people on that flight.
Yes.
Yeah, that was when I sat next to James's title sponsor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. You did
That
sit
was-
down next to one of the
when I
capstone
come to
people.
board, I audibly heard somebody say, "Oh no, he's on our flight."
I remember that.
What? I made it. So
Much to everyone else's
but
dismay.
it works. It's not stupid.
Oh man, good times. Okay, so this is not really related to anything we were just talking about. It's certainly not trap related, but it is racing related, and it's something we've done before, and I would like to do it again. In the past, we have talked about something called the Rod Campbell Award, which is something to help people get into the world of motorsports, looking for careers in motorsports. They have an application process that we have announced on here in years past. AJ Abate, who was one of the winners previously, he now works for Spire Motorsports, who's, you know, they've got a NASCAR team. It's the agency that I've been with for a long time. Townsend Bell was, it was actually Townsend Bell's father-in-law, Rod Campbell, who was an industry genius in the commercial and marketing side of motorsports. So anyway, it was an award that was established in 2021 to perpetuate a launchpad of opportunity for young professionals approximately 18 to 23 years old looking to begin successful careers in the automotive and motorsports arenas. And the winner will be selected by a panel of very experienced industry people, companies that are all kind of somehow associated with Rod or somebody that he knew. So you'll get 4 to 6 weeks of paid apprenticeship. And I can tell you that I think it's been going on, 4 years or whatever now. Everyone that's won this award has ended up with a career in racing. They're all gainfully employed and enjoying themselves. So we're going to create a link on Twitter to the application. Tim will put that up. They do have to be in by February 1st. I'm cutting this a little bit close. So hopefully, if you're interested, you've listened in time, click the link in Twitter. And who knows, we might see you around the racetrack later this year because it's a very cool program and a very cool thing. So thank you, AJ, for reminding me, and go get your applications in.
Tim, better submit it.
He doesn't quite make the cutoff.
I'm good.
So when I was in Daytona, I had a really funny time there with my new Italian friends. So I had 2 Italian teammates, Marco and Andrea, but then also all the Lambo people are they're 90% Italian, right? And so Marco is pescatarian, so his dining options were a little more limited. So we kind of were really bouncing between 2 restaurants the entire time.
Bonefish Grill and
No, there's a little Italian place.
oh,
in like right beside One Daytona there, like right across the track, like right in the same plaza, like PF Chang's and all that stuff, right? So we end up at this little Italian place more often than not. But I have to say, man, eating Italian at an American restaurant with real Italians is one of the funniest experiences ever. Because like you'd order, so like Jordan ordered an eggplant parmesan, right? And they were like, what even is that? And then it shows up and it was like a TV show. Like the reactions were so comical and like borderline stare. Like, I don't know if it's racist to be like, they were like, oh, wow, mamma mia, what? They were so upset at what Americans pass off as Italian food. And one meal we had with like all the Lambo people, so it was like 10 people at the table. And every time something showed up, it was like immediately assessed and judged by the entire table. And you either got the like, oh, that's pretty, or the, what is this? It was so funny, man.
So my only question is like, if you wanted to really make their lives better and give them the Italian food that they wanted, why didn't you just go to Olive Garden every night?
So
he
that
didn't
actually
want to be
was
family. He didn't want to be family with them.
That was talked about. Apparently,
there.
they actually kind of like going to Olive Garden. Amazingly.
Probably just because they take the piss the entire
Yeah,
time.
I think it's just like the novelty of it. They're like,
There's
look at what these
there's
guys
no
think.
planet that,
I also like that, like the version of American food is just American food. Like you could just go to fast food restaurants here. Like you would never go to Italy and have like a version of American food that we don't already have at home.
Yeah,
right?
no, like
You just go to
McDonald's is the
McDonald's.
same.
It's just like it's arguably better over there.
Yeah, it's probably a better like quality ingredients for sure. But that was why I texted you and asked you about that Italian place at Road America.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to like set them up with good restaurants throughout the IMSA calendar.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Can we go there this year at RA? Or like you probably already have a plan. I really want to go.
I'd love to go. Are you doing Sebring and Petite?
I am doing.
Or were you
Sebring
just
Petite.
a Daytona? Okay, so you're the endurance guy.
I'm the enduro guy.
You
Yeah,
weren't
Jordan was one
the
of them.
fourth guy. Okay,
No.
cool.
So back to travel. I had a funny thing. Have you ever? Do you ever think you're like way better at packing than you actually are?
No, I'm pretty perfect at it.
Because I'm pretty good at it too. But I had this thing where like I packed for this trip, and to be fair, I did an entire 2 weeks in Daytona in a carry-on. Mm-hmm. Pretty proud about that.
I mean, you don't need anything in Daytona.
It's fair.
Aside,
I mean, dude, it was cold. You needed sweaters and jackets and shit. It was
fair, yeah.
weird. But I went to go pack all my stuff up, and dude, I struggled to get my bag closed. Like, struggled to get it closed. I'm trying to do the math here. I'm like, I don't have any more stuff. Like, I folded everything really nice, tight, compact. Everything was good to go. And it was so bad that as I, like it's a hard case, right? It's a hard shell case, but it's like bowing out in the middle. It's like oval shape now. And I was pulling out the handle, and the handle broke because there was like so much tension on it. I'm like, ugh. So I had to travel home with a broken.
So did you just carry it like under your arm?
No, luckily it would go to the first notch, but then anything above that, one of the arms just had snapped and just pulled right out. Okay. So like I had to just have my backpack on my back.
Super low.
And how like super, like I'm leaning into this thing, carrying it through the airport,
You're
hoping nobody
kicking it through the
realizing.
hall.
Yeah, dude, it was so bad.
But okay, that's not physically possible. So what changed? You must have figured it out.
I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. It's just like, I was like, I guess I didn't do this as well as I thought I did. Or like maybe it was this bad on the way here and I just don't remember. But I don't know, man. I feel like once you wear, like if you've laundered everything at home and you fold it up nicely, you do buy yourself a couple extra mil compared to like worn clothes. Even if you still fold them up, there's something about clothes fresh out of the like dryer that just fold a little tighter.
No, I'd
You don't
buy
think so?
that they're less stretched. So maybe that's what you're saying, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So what was your weekend? We talked about my weekend back in the Tuesday show. What did you get up to this weekend, pal?
let's see. So we landed Thursday morning, the old red eye program. I'm not allowed to talk about riding my bike, so I didn't do that. I didn't do much, man. I stayed at home. I spent my entire Sunday watching football because that's what good Americans do.
Were you happy with the outcomes of the
Terribly
games?
upset with the outcomes of the games. You know, I think
everybody wanted the Bills. Everyone wanted the Bills.
Everyone thought that it was going to be Josh Allen's time. Everyone was very aware of the fact that the Chiefs this year, even though they were 15-2, they weren't they'd never scored above 30 points all season long. They had won 6 games by kind of very strange endings. Like one guy doinked an easy field goal. One guy, they blocked an extra point, which is crazy to think about. The refs gave him one. So there was all of this kind of underlying thought that, okay, the Chiefs aren't actually as good as their record shows. The Bills are the best they've been all year, or best they've been in years. Josh Allen's been to this stage before. He's going to know how to handle the pressure and all this sort of thing. And it goes to show, one of my good buddies was like, there's no way the Chiefs lose. And not because of the reasons of the refs and the conspiracy theory and all this sort of thing. It's for one reason. And it's they have the best quarterback.
Yeah.
/ player in the league and the best coach. So they're not going to lose. So it doesn't matter, very much like we saw in the Belichick-Brady era, right? You know, that team wasn't the same team that was winning Super Bowls at the end as the team that was winning in the beginning. When you have that chemistry and that connection, you have two people at that high of a level, it doesn't really matter what your surrounding pieces are. You can put the pieces together. The puzzle pieces are going to connect to be successful. So as much as I wanted to see the Bills win, it's very reminiscent of kind of that Patriot period of time, which is weird that it's happening so quick. You know, we went from the Patriots dynasty, which we were like, we're never going to see anything like this again. We're never going to see anything like what Tom Brady's done. And immediately we're seeing exactly that same thing.
It was like a handoff.
Yeah, which is weird. And ultimately, it'll be interesting if Patrick and the Chiefs continue this progression, because he's on track to kind of beat / match all of Brady's records and the Patriots organization, all this sort of thing. But Mahomes has only lost to 2 people in either the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, and one of those people is Tom Brady. So it's when there's these comparisons about the two and who's better and all this sort of thing, that's always going to be, I think, a pretty big lever, in the sense that through all of his success, only Tom Brady and Joe Burrow beat Mahomes, at least up until this point. So the Super Bowl, I think, is going to be the least interesting Super Bowl we've had in a long time.
Yeah, they're just going to steamroll
Chiefs, Eagles. Chiefs are going to steamroll it. But yeah, that's okay. It's funny because all of America's bummed. The amount of people that are boycotting the Super Bowl, will they actually? I don't know. But a lot of people are threatening to, just because it's the least interesting Super Bowl we've had in a while.
A lot of people in upstate New York might do it. I could see that happen. I could see the whole state of New York actually really just not wanting to participate.
Yeah. The also other big storyline about it all is, so I know you don't follow football that much, but so the Eagles, their success, and so much of it is coming because of Saquon Barkley, running back. If he wasn't benched for the last game for, just protecting the roster and his health and everything, he was going to break, or he was on track and could have broken the all-time rushing record in a season. Even as it stands, he's 4th overall. And he came to the Eagles after being with the Giants for 4 or 5 years. And he was a top prospect in his draft class, was always known to be this elite running back. He had some injuries a little bit early on in his career, but when he was healthy, he was that guy, right? And going into contract negotiations with the Giants for the 2024 season, he was asking for a pay raise, and he was asking for, it was either 13 million or 17 million. Okay. Regardless of what it was, the Giants weren't interested in paying it. They were giving a lot of their cap space to Daniel Jones, who was the quarterback. They paid him $40 million. He didn't end up even making it to the end of the season with the Giants. He sucked that bad. So Saquon is you don't see my value. Screw you. I'm out of here. He leaves the Giants. The Giants are perpetually one of the worst teams in the league. They overpaid this quarterback who doesn't even play for them anymore. And he went to the Eagles, and he has now performed as the guy. He's broken every single record or beaten every single other running back this year. And it just goes to show, there is something to be said for like believing in your worth, right? And your value. Cause he could have very easily taken the easy road and been like, fine, I'll take my $7 million and just, make a nice living. And I might find success with this team at some point down the road, or I can say, screw you. You don't believe in what I'm doing. Go to a different organization and literally become the best back in the league. It's a cool story when that works out.
What did he end up getting paid at the Eagles?
I think it was very similar. I think it was just the point that it's like, I've given so much to this organization. I've shown you what I can do. These people believe in what I can do, and they built a lot of incentives into his contract and that sort of thing. So he ended up making a huge amount more money.
Yeah, he's going to probably double whatever his base was based on getting
but now when he goes back to the table to negotiate,
his next one's going to be outrageous. It'll be 20 plus. It'll be insane.
Yeah.
Good for him. I love success stories. I love it when people bet on themselves. It's fun to bet on me. And it works. Yeah. Sorry. I don't like it when you do it and it fails. That's terrible.
It's super awkward.
A small correction from earlier. We've just been informed, live breaking news, that the Rod Campbell Award applications are open until February 4th. So you have time, no excuses. So after Daytona, Evan, my brother-in-law, and I went to Miami to visit Marco and Billy and meet young Miura. Which was awesome.
Photos. Yeah.
Cute kid. Damn,
look at the parents, man.
I know. But like sometimes you see that and like the kid comes out a little bit off at first. Like they grow into their faces, but sometimes they're ugly babies. This is not an ugly baby.
I'm like, let's be honest. All babies are kind of ugly.
I think all babies are kind of cute. It's weird to get an ugly one.
I disagree.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I hate the people that, I guess, when I get to that point in my life, like you're going to think your baby's cute, but like I hate the people that think their baby's cute when everyone knows their baby's not cute. I want to be the parent that if I have an ugly baby, I'm like, yeah,
I was just going to say,
the
counter to that is I love parents that are like, don't say that. Something's wrong with him. Like we're really hoping he grows into those ears or that nose or whatever. Right. And you know 100%. What? 99 times out of 100, they do. Like it's like those ugly babies, but it is hilarious when there's just like that thing's just not proportioned right for a little kid. But
I also hate when parents lie and they say they don't have a favorite kid because that's just bullshit.
100%.
I love the parents that are like, oh yeah, it's him or her. Because
100%.
It's impossible not to. Yeah.
Yes, I do have one. And I've told my one friend, I'm not going to call him out on here, but
that's fine.
He has 3 kids and he's he doesn't even hide it. I'm not sure if he's like told them to their faces, but like they could figure it out very easily. And they're, young enough to probably be affected by that. And I was like, dude, you should probably just tone it down a little bit in front of your kids. Like, this is going to cost you money in therapy later if you don't just throttle back a tiny bit. But yes, they all have it. But dude, so Marco was like, he was texting us. He's like, do you guys want to do brunch? And we're like, sure. He's like, on Monday. And I was in my head, I was like, can you brunch on a Monday? And then he was like, I booked a reservation for brunch on Monday at 1:45. And I was like, Marco, that's lunch. That's
borderline past lunch.
I don't even know how you can justify yourself calling that, even on a Monday at 1:45. And that is lunch everywhere in the world.
Did you go to Carpaccio?
No, we did not. We went to...
Because that's usually his only...
Yeah.
You know how Marco gets into... Like, he just has these things, and that's the wheelhouse he lives in.
Yeah, he's got his places.
Right. I just figured he only ate lunch at Carpaccio because that's only where I've been with him for lunch in Miami.
Las Fuegos is where we went. It was delish. Although I do have to say, man, eating out in Miami is like
unaffordable.
I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people do it.
It is. So here we were in Hawaii, and so me and my buddy, so the other couple we were with, the guy, we were at the bar at the Four Seasons, right? And so the girls were getting a massage, and we were kind of there early watching some football, waiting to join them for dinner. And so we had a couple cocktails, and we were like, man, this is pretty steep. Like they were $19 to $26 and that sort of thing. And you're like, man, Hawaii it's an investment. Like the flights are a lot of money. The hotels are not cheap, all this sort of thing. And the food and beverage ain't cheap either. But we were like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And then I brought up, I was like, you know what? But I still think Miami's more expensive. Yeah, you're going to save money on the flight, but the hotels are super aggressive. And I was like, I think the food's more aggressive. He was like, no way. Like, there's no way. And I was like, let's Google it. So we went on to, one of the hotels in South Beach. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. And we pulled up like the bar menu. The cheapest cocktail, was $27. There was one that was like $43 and it didn't have like gold or caviar or whatever. It was just like, it was like a gin drink, yuzu, whatever, $43. Yeah. It's like, how on earth do you vacation in Miami?
That's wild, man. It
That's
is
crazy.
It is, yeah. Like we went out, we were watching the football game on Sunday night and went out, we're at this bar, got a couple drinks. Only two of us were drinking. We got like a snack and a couple drinks. And when the bill came, it was one of those things. I was like, I'll get this one, man. Like, whatever. And I grabbed the bill and I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? What has happened at this restaurant, at this place that has led them to feel it's not criminal to charge us this much money for a couple of drinks? It was wild, man. It was wild. But yeah, I not rushing back to eat out on a regular basis down in old Miami.
No, I'm good. So we're jumping around a lot here, but that's okay. So I had to take my plane to get its oil changed yesterday.
Should like take it to like Midas or what? How do you do that?
Speedy lube, quick lube, whatever. No, take it up to Muncie.
Got it.
And it was having so before like a year ago, there was like it was doing this kind of porpoising thing when you're on autopilot. And it ended up being just an elevator trim tab needed some WD-40. Okay. I mean, cool. I guess WD-40 fixes a lot of things.
Does fix most things.
And then coming back from Michigan over New Year's, like the alternate air door was a little bit, like it was jammed a little bit. So the alternate air is how you redirect airflow to the engine, bypassing the filter because you don't need to filter in the air. Because obviously there's no rocks or bugs or grass in the air. And if you imagine if you're flying through ice, that the filter's going to freeze. Whereas if it's just an open pathway into the engine, that's not going to be a problem. So anyways, so the alternate air door wasn't working. And then the speed brakes, which are little like metal flaps that pop up on the top of the wing, they weren't really working either. So anyways, these aren't things that prevent the plane from flying. It's not a safety thing. I mean, it is if you're flying in ice, but assuming you're not. So I took it there, oil change. I was like, oh, while you're looking at it, can you just go through these couple punch list items? Yeah, no problem. So anyways, I'm sitting there, 3.5, 4 hours goes by, come out. They're like, all right, plane's good, leak check's good, you're good to go. I was like, oh, so what was wrong with everything? They're like, oh, I just need some WD-40. And I'm like, so that's now 3 for 3 things that I've paid you about $500 in labor for. If I have any issues from here on out, do I just spray WD-40 on it and see if that solves it? And they're like, yeah.
It's like the plain equivalent of, sir, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
It's like these should be machines that are like, they're highly engineered pieces of machinery, but they're also made to be so simple for like reliability's sake that like WD-40 just.
Yeah, you want to think that it takes like a technician that's got several years of specialized training that it exclusively works on this particular problem of this particular type of aircraft.
I'd love
but
to
it's
think
really
that.
just like Skeeter from the back squirting some WD-40 on it. Yep, good to go.
I think his name was Billy, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, but yes, it's annoying that it cost you $500 to figure out it just needed a squirt of WD-40.
But also, like, as cool as it is, it's terrifying. I'm like, this thing is functioning based on its WD-40 intake. Or like is the landing gear not going to come down next time because I didn't put WD-40 on it lately?
We'll fix that. We'll just open up the latch from the inside.
Right.
Ready to go.
Yeah, good to go.
So I'm assuming that means that you bought a bottle of WD-40 that you're just leaving in the plane now.
Well, yes, obviously.
Okay. It'd be weird if you didn't do that.
Yeah.
What do you have going on this weekend?
Well, this weekend, nothing. This is kind of the last weekend off before it all gets pretty crazy. I was in the sim yesterday. In the sim tomorrow. So I was in the sim yesterday. So we'll do, actually, believe it or not, we're doing 3 sim sessions before St. Pete. So that's pretty good. Seems like a lot, but
3 sim sessions, 2 test days.
We get 2 half days of testing.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the season's coming up, man. So like really getting super specific and aggressive with the training stuff. And you're that this time of year where you're starting to, very carefully watch what you eat and that sort of thing. So all the fun and games are over, and we're just getting to that point where it's finally over, man. When we're recording this, we're a month out. We're 4 weeks out. So
it's coming quick, eh?
Yeah.
It's coming quick.
Well, I don't know. It's funny because it takes forever to get to this point, and then before we know it, we'll be in St. Pete.
Like this weekend, we're into February, and February is going to fly by.
Yes.
And yes,
we went from the shortest month of the year, but yeah.
God, I hate you so much. That was I feel like that's.
I mean, it's the shortest by 2 whole days, so that's why
that one. Tim was just itching to say that joke, but
flies by.
But no, it's going to be here before we know it. I still feel like there's so much to do on like our side from the TV side of things. Like we're still putting the team together, and we're doing something kind of cool. Where
are we at with pit lane reporters? Is that a thing? Do we have them? Are there going to be them?
There are going to be some. Are going to be some. I do not know.
New faces,
yet.
Old faces?
Dude, I honestly don't know.
Oh, no idea.
They are being very.
Why is that so hard? I would think that's easier than the booth.
I think there are actually more options for pit lane.
That's fair.
And
more resumes and
they got to try to figure out exactly what they want, and you got to make sure you're balancing all the different elements. And are these people also going to do work on the next broadcast? Like, there's a lot of different things you got to sort out. I am not nervous. My like OCD brain wanted all that sorted, and like, look, it's not my job to figure it out, so I don't really have to care. But if I was in charge, I would have wanted this sorted sooner than this. But it's got to be coming any day now. And I mean, in their defense, because like we've been like, hey, where are you guys at with this? And in their defense, they've been very, very tight-lipped because we're all in the same industry and we're friends with all these people. So anything that they told us would probably end up leaked somehow to the group. And so it's probably better that they just keep it to themselves until it's official. But yeah, that'll be coming soon. And then we're doing something really cool that I've not done before, but I guess is not a rare thing to do in the industry, which is like, we're going to go do a test. We're going to test the broadcast team by going to LA.
Sebring?
No. We're going to go to LA. We're going to put on an old race and let Will Townsend and I call it.
No.
Yeah. And so like the producers will be there, the big people from Fox. So like they can kind of in real time interject some notes, some thoughts. Hey, this is the tone we want. We want more of this, less of that. And the first time we're doing it isn't on network television, primetime weekend network television, calling the first race of the season. So I would have loved that opportunity before, I went to St. Pete back in 2022. It doesn't make as much sense because obviously NBC was a well-oiled machine at that point, with everything being new for Fox and new for Will and whatever. I'm like, I love that. Like this is how driver brain works. It's like, all right, we practice, we get it, feedback, we apply. And so I'm really excited. I'm excited to get to do that. And in 2 weeks, we're doing that. And then it's just like meetings on meetings on meetings now, about like graphics and about like animations and about just all sorts of stuff. Like we're in weekly calls with several different groups now. So it's getting real, man. It's pretty exciting. I'm excited.
So on the Fox thing topic, the second IndyCar Fox commercial came out. It came out during the NFC Championship game.
I meant to bring that up.
Which was Eagles and Commanders, which is huge deal. It came out in the fourth quarter after the 2-minute warning. Unfortunately, it wasn't that close of a game, but still, like, what else are people watching? And it was the same tone as Joseph's. It was the same sort of energy. It was really featuring the driver and kind of a quick snippet of his story. I don't think I liked it as much as Joseph's. That's probably because Tom Brady wasn't in it. But again, another like absolute banger of a commercial.
Yeah,
like, such a cool thing for the sport.
They're just nailing it. Like they're obviously doing this almost kind of satirical take on the drivers' personalities, but like they're also nailing the drivers' personalities.
It's not too far off.
It's on the nose. It's self-aware. It's tongue in cheek, but it's really well done. Like Joseph, as crazy as some of those things were, fundamentally very close to Joseph's.
I can't wait for Patos to just be jets, boobies, and sushi.
Yeah, that's we love
exclusively
Pato.
what it's going to be.
He's a simple. He knows what he likes. He's a man of simple pleasures, and
which I think. I mean, those are hard to beat.
A lot of people would also be on board with those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. Plo did a great job, and look, that's the other thing too, right? And you see it in every sport. You could chuck an athlete into a commercial, especially one where they kind of have to be funny. Right? Like you had to have kind of good timing, the winks, the like whatever. That's not easy to do. These aren't actors, right? I've seen a lot of commercials with athletes where the athlete's performance was just terrible, just so bad. But like, I wasn't going to name you personally, but
100%. Yeah.
No, you actually show you deliver when you need to. You just don't like doing it. And you know when you don't need to, and you just phone it in. That's like the bigger one. But no, IndyCar is lucky, man. We got some guys that are like playing ball and they're excited and they're buying in.
And if the timing is correct, and this is a big like presumption, I'm not saying that this is going to happen. Don't quote me on this, but like if you look at the spacing of the commercials, that would say that Pato's going to be on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I genuinely have no knowledge on that, but I have the same thought. I really hope that's what's happening.
Is incredible because we've been in Indy, like we've seen the local, whoever network was carrying it, do like a small Indy 500 spot for the Indianapolis market, right? But no, if this was to in fact become reality, this would be a national commercial, which are valued at like tens of millions of dollars for IndyCar.
Yes. Huge.
Featuring our most popular driver. So
biggest
deal.
audience, biggest television audience like in the world ever. Like this is the biggest watched event every year. And
that makes you being on Dancing with the Stars look pretty dumb.
Pretty sad.
Pretty sad. It's still cooler than The Amazing Race.
I was going to say, definitely got more viewers than The Amazing Race though.
Yeah.
So.
But no, less Emmys.
All right, guys. That is our basically racingless update for this week. Still have one seat to fill in IndyCar. We were just talking about how close we are to the season. We still have one out going.
Why don't we?
We should get Dale on next week. Let's get Dale.
Let's do that
and get him to be our Tuesday interview next week.
Let's do that.
Let's start making calls because first of all, I love the guy. He's got a great story, and the fact that he's been around for so long in this sport.
Let's make it happen.
All right, we're gonna talk to Dale next week. You heard it here first. Maybe, hopefully. Asterisk.
We'll see if he responds to us. Yeah,
he might not even get the message. He's sometimes not the quickest to reply.
No.
But we'll figure it out. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this.
You too.
Oh, you've done
already
this.
Did it.
Technically.
Enjoy the weekend.
And we'll chat to you soon.
Yeah.
This has been Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. Off Track is part of the SiriusXM Sports Podcast Network. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please give a 5-star rating and leave a review. Subscribe today wherever you stream your podcasts. We are at Ask Off Track on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Hinchtown and at Alexander Rossi. If you want to follow Tim, though we have no idea why you would, he's at the Tim Durham on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for exclusive video content. Off Track is produced by Tim Durham, and by that we mean Tim.